Look what I find.
Today we are finishing up those walls, finally getting the doors fully insulated and ready to build the rest of these tanks. Filming this a bit differently this time, mainly because I forgot to film an intro before I did all the work. So the walls are done now. You're gonna see past me do all the work. What I can say from that was it took a lot longer than I thought. It was a lot more tedious than I thought, but it's done and I quite like how it turned out. So that's a bonus. So I just want to give a quick little update about what's been going on here lately. I have been waiting to hear back from the CFIA, which is the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, to give me my permits for importing. I'm roughly on stage 3 of, I think, 5 or 7 steps. And it's been stuck at stage 3 for quite a while. So I've been reaching out quite constantly, just try and keep the ball rolling. If anything they need from me, I can give to them fast so everything can go smooth. And the issue is we're communicating with 2 different countries to get this whole thing sorted because I'm importing from a foreign country and they have to fill up packets. I've been talking with the company where I'm getting the product, the post-larval shrimp from, and they're communicating with their government. And finally something broke through and I was told that their respective agricultural government is asking for me to reach out back to the Canadian government, which is a bit annoying because the Canadian government keeps asking me to reach out to their government, but that means they're actually moving forward now, and I'm hoping I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm hoping I can get the shrimp here in Canada very soon, especially getting this little glimpse of hope and communication from both sides of importing and exporting. Pretty much I'm asking to import post-larval shrimp, and what I was told by the respective government was if I could formally ask the Canadian government to add broodstock into my request to import as well. Not necessarily because I need broodstock at the moment. I was going to sort of do that more down the line, but apparently what I've got the understanding of, it'll make the whole process easier and it's better to get it done at the beginning than later on. And that's sort of what they're asking me to reach out back to the CFIA to do. So that's what I did. I reached out, I told them exactly that, and now I'm just waiting to hear back from the CFIA. You know, when you start losing a little bit of hope, then something like this happens and it brings it back up. So it's nice. Puts a little more energy back into me, helps me keep moving on with this project. And hopefully I don't have to put anything like rainbow trout in here, which if I have to, I will for half a year. But I'm really hoping I can get the shrimp in now and move on to rainbow trout and aquaponics, which is something I really want to do and interested about. But I want to get this shrimp up and running first before I move on to my next project, which would be rainbow trout aquaponics, and hopefully actually building a turnkey system that backyard enthusiasts could put in mainly for the summer months, but also if they're willing, make some sort of greenhouse for the winter months, because rainbow trout is a cold water fish. They only need about 13.5 to 15 degrees Celsius water to thrive. So if you get some chillers, you could run it year round if you wanted to, but that is sort of a passion project that I've also been working on. It's making a turnkey system for rainbow trout so people here in Canada can supplement both their protein and vegetables yearly by having a... Anyway, I keep rambling on about this, but long story short is rainbow trout aquaponics is something I really want to do once the shrimp's set up, and I want to develop a turnkey system for backyard enthusiasts and hobby farmers to have something to help supplement the grocery bills that we have here in Canada today, and also possibly bridge some food deserts that would be more in the northern parts of Ontario or other provinces as well, where fresh vegetables or fish is a bit more expensive to buy. So fingers crossed, shrimp coming soon, and rainbow trout doesn't have to go into this system, but into my next system I want to do after this. I'm gonna stop talking now because I just keep rambling on. I hope you enjoyed this video, and again, like, share, subscribe, do whatever you can to show support and make these videos more well known. That took longer than expected to do that one, but I think I have the hang of it now, so it should be going by a bit faster. I am gonna bring the vacuum up because there's a crap ton of spiders and I just want to get rid of all their cobwebs. But let's climb up and I'll sort of show you, see if I can do this one hand, show you the concept. Pretty much, I just put another sheet that connected up here to the piece so it doesn't fall down. And I mean, it might have been a bit excessive, but I've stapled both the tape and the actual foil into the wood. So hopefully all the downward force, these staples will hold it up, and this will stick much better to itself than just trying to stick the tape to this wood, which seemed to just be peeling off pieces of the wood and falling instead of holding it up. Done another door and moving on to the neck. I was thinking, because there is a big gap here, and I was thinking of doing this earlier, but since I'm up here, I might, because I have this little extra piece, to show you my idea here. 1 second. And that would be not exactly like this, but something, and run it along and bring it all the way down to have these middle sections cut off, and then up in these corners, I'm not too sure. I do have that extra close-out insulation pieces that I could jam in there, which I'm thinking about, but I'll keep you updated. I'm lifting up this wall to put it back on, and look what I find. A little froggy. This is a nice little friend. I'm gonna have to get him out, put him outside, but he must have got in from over there, so I'm gonna have to make sure to seal this stuff up. Look at him, he's so cute and green. Fixed all the walls behind me. Now it's time to start filling in the gaps here and any gaps that could be between the door and the wall. Sort of like this, just gonna cover it over. I have just a bunch of these cut-offs from when I was insulating the bottom of the pools, plus one large leftover. So I'm gonna use those to try and seal up the rest of my doors and then have more reflective tape going over and across. Most of it's pretty good, except way up here, you see there's a huge gap that you can see all the way up, which I really want to get rid of. Not sure exactly how I'm gonna do it, but again, I think I'm just gonna use some cutoffs and jam pieces in there and just figure it out as I go. Cut a few pieces off of this. I mean, they weren't very straight cuts. I was just messing around, seeing what I can do. But it seems to fit pretty well. And it fits nice and snug in here. However, as I was doing this, I realized this thickness seems very familiar. And why would it seem very familiar? Because that fits. So now I'm thinking I'll cut off this much and then just secure it. Don't know how I'm gonna secure it, probably just some tape. I'll do the same on the side. Sometimes it's the simple things that work best. Never a reason to overcomplicate it. So instead of spending hours cutting and measuring little pieces to jam in, I'm just gonna do that. It's gonna save me a lot of time, and I have a lot of extra pieces and that one whole board. So I should have plenty of insulation to do this door and fill in the gaps on the other door. All right, it's not the prettiest, but it's getting there. Sort of figuring out a technique now. I think it's gonna get easier from now on. Start putting on an angle instead of slotting it in here because the gaps are all uneven. Right here, there's a gap here. However, it's because this is so far forward that this had to go flush to the bottom so it can make a good seal. But I might end up actually taking this off and seeing if I can slant it on an angle like this one. I'm hoping that I can get it to work, but we'll see. I redid this side, new match up top, and it's coming together well. This took actually quite a while to do, but I have the hang of it now, so it should take no time and look a lot cleaner. Hopefully more like this, less like this whole Frankenstein situation here. Finish the bottom halves. Now it's time to climb up and finish the top half. However, probably be easier if I just did this. Finally finished these walls. It took way longer than I thought, and it was actually pretty hard work to do it, going up and down the scaffolding all this time, coming up and down, dropping stuff, having to go down to get it, bring it back up. But finally, all this tedious work is done. Let me flip this around. And I would say we were about 95% fully sealed around all these doors, which is pretty good for what I had to do. Again, thank you to everyone who's been watching my videos and showing support. Here's a little sneak peek for the next video where I'll be building all of these pools finally. Make sure to click those buttons right down the bottom to show support, like, share, subscribe, and see you next time.